at the sound of a reserved knock. Aunt Rosa, who had been falling into a doze, I think you mean a daze, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun at the door as she yelled. I was napping on a sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality.
Rosa-sama, Genji de gozaimasu.
何か用なの？扉は開けなくて結構よ。そのままで話して。
はい。それではこのままで失礼させていただきます。
Oh, did he find Kinzo's corpse?
南條先生と熊沢の遺体を見
Oh,
つけました。
those corpses.
なんだって。
そう、わかったわ。確認に行きましょう。死体を見ない限り、私は誰も信じない。
Of course you won't.
大丈夫だよ、バトラー。マリアといれば絶対に大丈
Hell
夫。
yeah. Little homie Maria. Maybe my face seemed to be darkened with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Aunt Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backwards glance at Aunt Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door.
ケンジさん、二人の死体はどこに？
中庭です。ご案内いたします。
バトラ君待って。念のため部屋の戸締まりを確認していくわ。ちょっと待ってね。
What? Aunt Rosa called me to a halt to prevent me from going on ahead and began to carefully check the locks on each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It felt kind of unpleasant, as though she suspected that I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No, maybe Aunt Rosa was right to be this cautious. She's fucking hyper-paranoid, that's for sure. Though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in, like the Rose Garden. On the contrary, since it was surrounded by the mansion on all sides, it made you feel a little uncomfortable, as though it was telling you that there would be no escape from this mansion, no matter where you tried to run. On the other hand, that meant that even though we could still hear the violent winds, the wind itself was blocked. Genji-san held out an umbrella, but Aunt Rosa ignored him. She was probably hinting that the gun took two hands and it would be dangerous if she took the umbrella. Yeah, that's what it is. We didn't need Genji-san pointing for us to notice. Right in the center of the courtyard, we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san lay. Aunt Rosa entered the courtyard without even opening an umbrella. So Genji and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria opened hers.
これはあれだな。
おお、第7の番と第8の番だね。
なるほど。確かに源氏さんたちが言っていたように、二人の首にはひどい傷があるわね。すごく鋭利な、まるで日本刀か何かで切ったかのようにすっぱりね。
I'm very curious to see how they're going to find George and Shannon's bodies. Because obviously if they're just being thrown out and put on display, I'm very curious to see how Beatrice is going to show off their bodies. And more importantly, Badler's reactions to all of it. Those gaping wounds on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes. But after seeing that Halloween party in the chapel, even though they looked horrible, they were no longer enough to make me feel sick. More importantly, our gazes fell to their legs. Yeah, knee and leg. To Dr. Nanjo's knee, to Kumasawa-san's ankle. Driven into each of them was something like a knife or a stake with a demonic design. It must have been the same as the thing that pierced Jessica's back. Okay, so hold up. Okay, hold up. Just hold up. Ayo, hold up. Ayo, hold up. Okay, so where are we? So Kanon and Jessica were here. Who? And now we're here. So, wait. Did this happen to... Did she do this to go to George and Shannon, and then come back and do this to Nanjo and Kumasawa? Is that what happened? I'm guessing that's the case. So I'm guessing she removed their corpses and put them somewhere, or maybe made them fade out of existence. And then I'm guessing whatever she did to, well, fucking George and Shannon got fucking massacred, but I don't know, I'm guessing this is where Go to George and Shannon happened. And then after all that, she came back and did this. Cause that's what I thought. I thought like knee and leg were like the last two. Okay. So yeah, we gotta be right at the end then. Sure is.
何かオカルトの儀式のつもりなのかしら。
わかりません。彼らの遺体を最後に見た時にはこのようなものはありませんでした。使用人室から運び出された後にやられたのでしょう。
The one stuck in Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect, but the one that had been thrust into Kumasawa-san's ankle might have been a little shallower. It had come out and fallen over. So by looking at the one that had fallen over for the first time, I realized that it wasn't a knife, but something like a stake. Its full length was probably about 30 centimeters. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part. It was obviously made to be a piercing weapon. Maybe it was like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used on horseback. The spiral-shaped ditches in it made it also look like a small drill. However, the grip had an occult design modeled off a demon or something. So instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ceremony to offer up living sacrifices.
間違いない。生贄のつもりなんだな。
第7の番に膝をえぐりて殺せ。第8の番に足をえぐりて殺せ。
But they were killed before they were gouged. Does that not negate that?
待てよ。それじゃ第4、5、6の番が抜けちまう。まさか。
Of course. Why is Genji-san alone? If something like this has happened, why aren't George-Aniki, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan here? Why was Genji-san alone?
どういうこと？ジョージ君たち3人はどこへ行ったの？
夏日奥様のお部屋を探し物に行きたいと言われましてお出かけになりました。まだお戻りになりません。
なんだって。その出かけたってのはいつ頃の話なんだよ。
2、3時間前のことだと思います。
そんな、なんでそんな大事なことをやっちゃなくて、なんで不審に思わなかったんだよ。
常に一人使用人は待機していなくてはなりません。彼らが戻るまで待機しているのが私のお務めでしたもの。
Yep, here we go. Is Genji-san really this much of a robot? This is bad. This is bad. It's really bad. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were killed like this, which means that 3 people have already been killed. We ran towards Aunt Natsu's room, with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. Yep. Like they're gonna walk up to it, see the door fucking busted open. Before we even saw the inside of Aunt Natsu's room, we were forced to resign ourselves to a certain fact. On that door was a bizarre, a marking. Scribble. No. Filth? Anyway, the room wasn't in an ordinary state, and without even opening the door, we could imagine what we'd find inside. On the face of the door, how should I say it? Handprints, done heavily with the same red paint as the magic circles from before. Had banged on the door, scratched at it, dirtied it. It looked like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. I didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint that had been slathered on was dripping down, even though no one said it, made us think of blood. Genji-san,
開けてください。
Aunt Rosa held her gun up high and ordered Genji-san to open the door. Yeah. Genji-san approached it without seeming particularly troubled by that stuff on it, and turned the knob. But immediately turned around, shaking his head. It was locked. At that moment, there was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will. Aunt Rosa. This time, Genji-san asked Aunt Rosa to unlock the door, instead of the other way around. After frowning slightly for a second, Aunt Rosa handed me a master key and told me to open the door.
バトラ君、これで開けてもらえる？
そのくらいのこと、ケンジさんを信用しても。
Aunt Rosa glared at me intensely. Getting into a fight here would only make the mood turn even more sour. Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. It was definitely the resistance of the lock. I stuck the master key into the keyhole. There was a slight resistance. Aunt Rosa told me to be on my guard, and I opened the door without really guarding myself in any way. Yep. And then, there was a scene laid out before us that didn't betray my expectations at all. Yeah.
やっぱり第4、5、6の番の再現だったな。
The inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers had been flung open, pulled out, and had their contents thrown about all over the place, leaving the room so cluttered you'd never believe it belonged to the methodical Aunt Nazi. But the very first thing that caught our eyes was Goda-san's corpse lying face down right in front of the door. Right in the center of his chest, almost as though it had been struck there to finish off a vampire. It was one of those demon stakes from before. Exactly how far could it have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? Just imagining it would make anyone's chest hurt.
目をえぐれば第5の番だったが。
So, okay. So either George or Shannon is the 6th one. I'm guessing Kinzo is the 4th? Again? Maria grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal. But maybe she really was afraid of the aura in this room where the 3 corpses lay. Along the wall, farthest into the room, George Aniki lay dead. This time, one of the stakes had been rammed right into the center of his stomach. Strange. So who was... Wasn't gouging the stomach the 6th Twilight? Shannon-chan's corpse was face down in front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. Had she seen her own face at the end, in that horribly broken mirror stained with blood? Because she was lying that way, I couldn't see her face, but I could guess even without seeing it. Nearby in the sea of blood she lay in, the demon stake had fallen. Only the 4th Twilight was left. Gouge the head and kill. Maybe my heart was totally worn out and dead. Even though I knew it was wrong, I lifted her head and checked, and I confirmed that my guess had been right on the mark. So she can do the Twilights in any order she wants? Because Goda got staked long before Shannon and George anything happened to them. Like, because the one fucking stake, showed up, danced around the room, and pierced Goda. And then, then there was a whole thing with Shannon and George. So she can just do it in whatever order she wants then? Is that what I'm getting out of this? Beatrice can just, say, you know what, I'm gonna do the 6th Twilight right now, fuck you. Because it sure seems that way. There was a gaping hole in Shannon-chan's head, and the insides were dripping out. Not only that, but you could even see inside her. After seeing that, I finally realized I was doing something wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now it's probably pointless.
警察が来るまでそっとしておかないとダメよ。勝手に触ってどういうつもり？せっかくの現場証拠がおかしくなっちゃったらどうするのよ。
Fuck you. Aunt Rosa got violently mad at me and even tugged at the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt, gazing dimly up at the ceiling.
マリア、これで第8の番まで終わっちまったな。第9の番って
第9の晩に魔女は蘇り。
そっか、これで黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェは、そしてなんだ、最後の第10の晩。
第10の晩に旅は終わり、黄金の里に至るだろう。黄金鏡の扉はもうすぐ開かれるんだよ。もうすぐ。
魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。
Yeah, we're kind of fucked, buddy.
俺たちはこれから死ぬのか、それともこれで生贄の儀式は終了で、何が俺たちの旅だ。俺たちは今日一日犯人を見つけよう、事態を打開しようと散々頭をひねって何も至れなかった。バカの考え休むに似たりってやつだ。そうさ、俺たちは今日一日ずっと死んだ人間しか信用できないって言ってわざわざ3人の死に顔をここまで確認に来たんだぞ。こんな俺たちがどうして黄金鏡とやらにたどり着けるって言うんだよ。
Damn. Battler is fucking broken in this episode. Jesus Christ. It's like, my man was strong and defiant all the way up to the end in the first episode, but like, goddamn. It's because Rosa took charge, alright? That's 100% the reason, alright? When Nazi was leading this shit, Battler, strong and confident. Rosa takes charge, you know, and there's, like you said, hatred and paranoia all day. And, you know, he's around this toxic environment that just breaks him. Homie can't fucking keep it together anymore. R.I.P. my dude. It would have been so much better if we'd locked ourselves up the whole time without thinking at all. Grandfather's the wisest of us. He's been shut up in his room since yesterday without any contact with anyone. And that was the right decision. Grandfather was the most correct of us all.
大丈夫だよバトラー。マリアといれば大丈夫。
I believe you, Maria.
魔女はとても気まぐれで、時に面白半分に人間を殺すかもしれない恐ろしい存在でも、マリアと一緒にいれば
Hell
絶
yeah.
対に大丈夫だから怯えないで。
ありがとな、気休めでも嬉しいぞ。
Maria's such a fucking sweetheart. I love her. After Aunt Rosa finished investigating their corpses, she announced that she'd seal this room again. Chased the rest of us out, stole back the master key she'd lent me, and locked the door again. Oh, what? What's up, Rosa? You don't want to pose any theories? Don't want to know how this happened? You know Genji doesn't have any keys. You know you have all the... Well, no. Actually, she doesn't know that because she thinks that, you know, the servants have extra keys made. Apparently, Georgianiki had been holding the key to Aunt Nazi's room. She also collected that. Wait a sec. She's got all the master keys on her person. If Nazi's own key was locked up inside this room, doesn't that make it another closed room? So what? Is this the fourth closed room? What, are we gonna go back to fucking Magic World and Balor's just gonna be like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I have no theories. Fuck you. Now that suspicions surrounding those three had been cleared, we returned to the parlor once more. So Rosa can slang more accusations at Genji. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are innocent and everyone alive is a wolf. That leaves only me, Aunt Rosa, Maria, and Genji-san. And besides us, there's only grandfather and that 19th person, the guest we've seen no trace of, Beatrice. 13 people have died, and 6 are left. How would a wolves and sheep puzzle with only 6 people end? Even though a puzzle that started with 19 people has been reduced to 6. I can't think of an answer. We returned to the parlor. I was a bit worried that while we were gone, a creepy magic circle or something might have been drawn on the parlor door. But thankfully, we didn't find anything like that.
ありがとう、源氏さん。ここまでで結構よ。あなたも今日は休んでください。
かしこまりま
That's
した。
a very polite way of saying fuck off.
これで休ませていただきます。
この状況下で源氏さんをたった一人で過ごさせるっていうのかよ。
そうね。とても危険なことだと思うわ。でも、ならなぜ彼は無事なの？彼は3人が夏日姉さんの部屋へ向かった後、ずっと一人でいた。なのに無事だった。狼と羊のパズルよ。
You're a fucking wolf and sheep puzzle. Fuck you.
最も弱い立場となる孤立した羊が無事な理由は何？
狼がたまたまいなかった。
Yeah.
違うわ。それが羊じゃなかったからよ。
You're an idiot.
源氏さんが狼だ
That
っ
is
て
what
いうの
she's
かよ。
saying, and she can fucking gargle nuts for thinking that. I mean, she can just gargle
彼は
nuts
一
in
人で
general.
厨房にいたそうだけど、それは証明不
Oh
能よ。
my god.
南條先生たちの死体を運んだり、ジョージ君たちを殺したりできたのは彼かベアトリーチェだけなのよ。
待てよ。その論法じゃ誰だって。
お気遣いをありがとうございます。私は信頼を勝ち得るのは常に100の言い訳ではなく一つの誠実であると信じています。たとえ信頼をいただけなくても私は最後まで誠実でありたいと思います。
源氏さん。
Genji, a real one.
なら決まりね。あなたが本当に無実なら、それは明日やってくる警察が証明してくれるわ。だからそれまでの間、あなたを疑いか長年後宮家に仕えてくれたあなたにこんな仕打ちをするのは本当に心苦しいんだけれど、今夜は分かってください。そして明日になったらもう一度仲直りさせてください。
Genji-san gave his head a small shake.
今日も明日も私は後宮家の使用人であり続けます。ご用がありましたらいつでもお申し付けください。それでは失礼させていただきます。
After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji-san bowed deeply and left down the hall.